So thanks for joining us this evening for Yin. Yin for grounding, working with the Muladhara chakra. So we can start lying down on our backs in butterfly pose. So soles of the feet come together, knees just rest out to the sides of you. And make yourself comfortable. If you need to support the head with a pillow or a block, you can always do that. And just rest the feet a little way away from the hips. You don't need to bring them all in quite close. You can let them go a little bit further away so that the ankles, the legs, and the hips can feel quite relaxed. Placing the left hand onto the belly, right hand onto the chest. Make sure the shoulder blades are nicely spread out and the elbows just rest down by the side of your ribs. You can choose to keep the eyes open or softly close them. And start to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. And as you start to find a rhythm to your breath, the inhaling and exhaling being of an equal length, that starts to bring you into the present moment of being on your mat, the here and the now, letting go of your day, letting go of what is to come later. Really allowing yourself to find some calm and peace in your day for yourself. And as the hands are connected in towards the heart space and the abdominal space or the belly, you can really feel the chest and the belly rising as you breathe in. And the exhale, obviously the deflation of the lungs, the deflation of the belly relaxes you in towards the earth just a little bit more each time you breathe out. Feeling connected to your breath, feeling connected to the earth, and taking your inner awareness, your inner focus down to the feet, the legs, and the pelvic floor, the area of our first chakra, the root chakra, Muladhara, the area of safety, security, stability, groundedness. And really focusing on that diamond shape, the empty space between the heels and the buttocks. And visualize filling that space with your exhale breath. Keep focusing on the long, deep exhale, relaxing each and every part of the body. And if you like, you can invite your own personal intention for your practice today. Whatever you want to receive from this practice, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, whatever feelings, benefits you need most at this time. If you need to be a little bit more grounded, these postures will hopefully be able to provide that for you. And we're going to be working physically into the feet, the ankles, the legs, a little bit into the hips and the lower back. Release the visualization of the exhale breath into the diamond space. Release the hands out to the side of you. Just wiggle the fingers. Just move into the wrists. And then take the hands to the thighs as you gently lift the legs together, placing the soles of the feet nice and wide of the mat. And just drop the knees in towards one another, toes turn in slightly pigeon-toed, and relax there in that constructive rest. So the hands can be on the belly, they can be on the hips or by the side of you, wherever they feel the most comfortable. And as you now have closed the space, close the hip, relax the inner thighs. Soften through the thighs, inner, outer, the back and the front of the legs. Soften into the hips, the pelvis, and the lower back, feeling heavier through that central part of the body. And being aware as you come out of that posture of reclined butterfly, how the hips and the legs responded when you came into this recovery pose. Heel toe the feet in towards one another into parallel. So the feet are facing forward of your mat and the soles of the feet are nicely comfortable and the toes aren't clenching. Give the toes a little wiggle and you might just flex into the ankles by lifting up the feet a little bit away from the mat. Coming into pelvic tilt. So these are our reclined cat and cows. So you might bring the heels just a little bit closer. Start by lifting up the pubic bone, curling through the abdomen and pushing the tailbone away from the mat. And then releasing and pulling the tailbone back underneath you. So a little bit of a back arch there. Rounding through flexion, pushing up and rolling down, pulling back. So really the initiation is through the sacroiliac joint, the tailbone, where the spine meets the pelvis. And this is exactly what we do when we are in our tabletop position of flexion and extension of the spine. Really feel grounded here as you're doing these pelvic tilts. Notice how the pelvic floor responds when you lift the pubic bone up, releasing the tailbone from the mat, scooping up through the abdominals, and then relaxing, releasing, going into that extension. And then relax it back. Roll the knees over to one side. Just stay there for a little bit. Stay in this nice embryo position so you can rest the head down. Place the hands just in front of the face and both knees are on top of one another. And just really feel that you're heavy here into this nice comforting posture. Push yourself up nice and gently using the hand and come up to seated. We're going to go straight into our caterpillar pose, which is our legs out in front of us. It's a seated forward bend. You can, of course, use a bolster or cushions underneath the knees if the hamstrings are quite tight. You can sit on a block, which always helps to lift up the hips. That's what I'm going to use today, simply because of my own personal hamstring injury. So I'm going to extend the legs out in front of me, sitting on the block, nice and tall. Good. And then drop the chin down towards the chest. Let the head release down towards the knees. Gently pull the navel back towards the spine. And then you start to drop the shoulders, relax them away from the ears, and let everything feel heavy down towards the legs. So we'll stay here for 3 or 4 minutes. So just Soak in the posture, really feel grounded in towards the earth, and return back to that steady flow of breath, the inhales and the exhales. Noticing tightness and tension easing itself away with each exhale. Letting go, relaxing even more each breath out. Trying to keep your thoughts present with you rather than letting them become distracted or taking you away from this calm and stillness as you hold the posture. You're doing great, and we're almost at the end of our hold. Nice and slowly, rolling back up to an upright position, unfolding the spine. Last thing to come up is the crown of the head, bringing the shoulders back up in line with the hips. Just pause in an upright position, letting the spine elongate itself once more. And then if you had that bolster, just take that away. And if you had the block, take that away and just come into a normal seated posture. Take the legs back behind you nice and gently. Let's go into a wide leg child's pose. Take the knees nice and wide, bring the big toes to touch. If you like, you can, of course, use the bolster or the block to support the body and the head. Maybe you use the hands, or you just simply slide the hands forward. letting the chest melt down towards the mat, letting the head rest. Be careful of the neck here, so make sure the neck is nice and long and in alignment with the spine. And try to relax everything. Relax the bones, they become heavier. Relax into the joints, they become softer, less tense. And you relax all muscle engagement and contraction. Go deeper into the connective tissue. Reminding yourself of your thoughts to be present. Focusing on the breath. Exhales, letting go. Inhales, feeding the body. And really being connected to the earth here with the hands, the body, and the head. Nice and slowly breathing in, lifting the head away from the mat and bringing the hands back towards the body as you push up and roll up gently through the spine. Come into this tadpole posture where the knees stay nice and wide and the buttocks just rest on top of the heels. So you can sit nice and tall there. Make sure that the navel is gently pulling back in towards the spine and you just relax through the shoulders, looking forward. You can close the eyes or just gaze ahead of you, that focal point of drishti, a single point of gaze. So a little bit of an ankle stretch here, trying to get the flats of the feet down. Flats, the tops of the feet, nice and slowly bring the hands forward. Lift the knees back in towards one another. And then we're going to tuck our toes into our toe stretch. So bring the toes underneath you and only bring the weight back if that's bearable for you. So coming into an upright position in a toe stretch is a little bit more challenging because a lot of the body weight comes down into those toe pads. And you can relax the face and smile here. We're just here for a couple of minutes, which is about 20 breaths. If you find the intensity too much, always just come forward, bringing the hands down onto the mat. Just keep the toes tucked underneath. Good, doing great. You can feel those toes starting to fire up. Just a few more breaths. Nice and slowly bring the hands forward. Take time to uncurl the toes, come into tabletop, press the tops of the feet into the mat. Good. And then let's give ourselves a little cat and cow here. So opening up the chest, looking forward, shoulders are pulled back away from the ears, dropping through the belly, and then rounding through the spine, broadening across the upper back and shoulders. So as we come into these recovery postures, always feeling what the work is that we've just done to hold in that toe stretch. So the toes might just starting to be now a little bit less fiery. And if you like, you can just lift a foot away from the mat, circle through the ankles, circle through the toes, give them a shake, change sides, lift a knee, and just do that with the other foot. Rotate through the ankles. Well done. So let's come into a dangle, which is a forward fold. So we're going to come back onto the toes and then lift the hips. Bring the feet underneath us. If you like, you can, of course, use blocks or a bolster to support the head, or you might just simply go into a full dangle here. So I'm just going to show you what you can do with your blocks is place two on top like that, and rest the head down, and then the hands just simply drop down in front of you. Now, I personally prefer to go into a full dangle without any blocks or a bolster, but I'll leave that one up to you. Make sure the knees are nice and soft. Let the belly and the chest fall down over the thighs. Take hold of the elbows. If you want to give more weight into that dangle, we're here for a couple of minutes, so you've probably just done 30 seconds already. Really slow, long, deep breaths. Feel the feet grounding you towards the earth, and this energy from the crown of your head going down towards your feet. Notice where you might have tensed up. Try and relax those areas. For just a few more breaths. And coming out of the posture, release the hands down. Lift the gaze up into a little half lift. So you lengthen through the spine, keep the knees nice and bent, and just wiggle those toes out to the side of your mat. Let's come into our squat from there. So with the squat, you have the option of sitting on your block, of course. Elbows come in towards the knees. Make sure the knees track nicely over the middle toes. If that means that you need to pull the toes in a little bit, go ahead. And choose your option where, again, we're here for 2 minutes. So make yourself comfortable. Don't go too deep too soon. Let gravity take you deeper in towards the earth. And relax everything here. We're not going to engage a bandha. The Mula Bandha is our pelvic floor seal, but I don't want you to engage a Mula Bandha here. So drop everything. Pelvic floor relaxes, releases into the glute muscles, backs of the thighs, around the outer hip, inner thighs, inner groin. And feel this energy of rooting through the legs, but rising through the crown of your head. So the spine is long, Beautiful. Really nice. Malasana or garland pose. Hello, Wesley. Where have you been? Hello. Just a few more breaths here. Well done, doing great in that squat. Releasing the hands down, lift the hips nice and slowly to come out of the squat and just heel toe back into parallel and then come back down to seated. Extend the legs out in front of you. And if you need to, you can just take the hips a little bit wider and release through windscreen wipers left and right. Let's come into half hero. Left leg extends. You've got the option of using the block underneath the left buttock, and the right leg is bent back underneath you. So if you can, use the block to sit on. Your right leg is bent, left leg is extended. Okay. Sitting nice and tall, we're going to start to gently fold over that left thigh, letting the head relax down towards the knee. Good. If you feel that you don't need the block or any cushions or anything, just roll over onto your left buttock, making sure both buttocks are nicely grounded. So here again, we are stretching into the top of the foot, into the ankle. You can lift up the calf, make sure that it's out of the way and it's not crushed in towards that right knee. The exhale gives in a little bit more to the release of the fold. Remember, we are working through the feet, the legs. Aiming for our practice to be more grounded, connected to the earth. Rolling up through the spine, coming into that upright position. The hands come back behind you. If you like, the fingertips can face forward or just place them out to the side and just gently give yourself a little stretch and a release there. You might press down the left foot, left toes, just to stretch through that left ankle. Nice, good. Lift the hips and release. Roll over onto the left buttock, take that right leg out nice and slowly and change sides. Left leg comes back behind you, bend the knee, and then roll that left calf out of the way. Again, sitting on that block should you need to, or a cushion. Left leg is bent, that's it. Right leg extended, relax through the legs, and then exhale, folding over your extended leg. And just noticing here, as you transition from each side, one side might feel a little tighter than the other. My left was particularly tight, so Really observing that, making sure both shoulders relax down nice and equally. They're symmetrical to the mat, parallel to the mat, I should say. Softening through the joints and all of the muscles, going deeper into the connective tissue and the fascia. Nice and slowly start to walk the hands back towards the body as you unroll. Come all the way into that upright position, bringing the shoulders above the hips. Bring the hands back behind you. And again, extending that right foot downwards, lifting up the hips. You're going to get a nice little thigh stretch there. Yes, lovely. Lift the hips up. Good. And release it down. Roll onto your right hip and release the left leg. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let's go into seated butterfly from here. Again, you can always sit on a bolster or a block, taking the head down towards the heels. Relaxing forehead, relaxing facial expressions, softening through the jaw and the shoulders. There is a gentle retention back into the abdominals, pulling the navel back towards the spine. And just notice if you've engaged any of the pelvic floor muscles or the glutes. Try and relax all of the outer hip. And breathe into this fold. Breathe into the flexion of the spine. And slowly roll yourself up. Uncurl each vertebra at a time. Bringing yourself back up to upright. Take the hands just gently to the knees. The extra weight of the arms just drops into the knees a little bit there. Sitting nice and tall, and then use the hands to bring the knees together. Widen the feet. Take the windscreen wiper option there to recover. Good. How are we doing? Good. So from here, let's go back into our hero pose. So what I would recommend is having the bolster or cushion behind you at the back of your mat. We're going to take the double option here. So Dad, I would probably recommend sitting if you can on a block there. So the knees are bent and you're going to lift up and just roll the calves out of the way of the back of the thighs. That's it. Good. So you might need 2 blocks. So just lift up the hips a little bit. That's it. And then the feet are out to the side of the mat. Now you take it at your own pace and your own level. So it's really important in all of these postures, particularly any that are challenging to you, not to put yourself in a place of pain, of course, or risk of injury. So you've got to find a way that works for you. So this technically is a thigh stretcher, a quad stretcher, a hip flexor, a psoas, and also a back bend. It's really allowing yourself now to soften into those tight areas wherever you feel them. If you're still feeling tight, I would go to a single leg option. Giving in to gravity, really dropping the body weight, the bones become heavier towards the earth. Taking time to come out, you're going to bring the elbows by the side of you, lift the gaze first of all along the body, push into the elbows and press yourself back up into that upright kneel. Drop the body weight just a little bit more between the heels. Well done. And let's come into our frog pose from here. So we're going to gently lift ourselves up, go sideways onto your mat. And if you've got the bolster or blocks, you can take those out in front of you. Knees go nice and wide off your mat. So sliding them out to the sides, and then you can bring the bolster underneath your chest. That's it. So you've got the knees bent at 90 degrees. You have the ankles flexed. Toes are facing towards the edges of your mat, or the ends of your mat, should I say. And the soles of the feet are pushing back behind you. Soften into the body. You don't have to use a bolster or the cushions. Again, giving in to gravity, letting all of the body weight drop down towards the earth. Remember, we're working on the intention of grounding. Really connecting our legs, feet to the earth. And just notice here again the pelvic floor and the glutes. Are they engaged? Are they active? Can you let them go? Can you relax a little bit more? So these are our peak poses of hero and frog. Deep exhales, letting go even further. Nice and gently coming forward, bringing the toes together behind you, and then gently push yourself back. Use your elbows, use your hands. You're going to come back into an upright position of tadpole, where you can then bring the knees together to kneel and just take a kneeling pose, relaxing. Oh, the inner thighs are thanking you for your frog. Spin the legs around. We're going to go onto our backs. And then gently drawing the knees in towards the chest. And as you feel the spine reconnecting back to the earth, which is where we began, draw the knees in and start to circle the knees around one way together. Just a few little rotations and then going the other way. So circling the knees, giving yourself a little massage in through the lower back and the waist. And then open the knees out, so then you can get into this opening of the hip joint, the ball and socket, moves and glides nice and smoothly now after the work you've already just done. And then guide those knees back in towards one another and outwards. Nice. Let's come into our knees to chest posture, which we're going to stay and hold. So you can, of course, take the hands up and interlace them above the top of the shins or the top of the kneecaps. Make sure the spine is nice and long. If you can reach, you might be able to take hold of the elbows, but not at the compromise of the tailbone coming away from the mat. So if you need to, release back to the interlace of the fingers. Make sure the face is relaxed. Neck is long. You're not lifting the chin or dipping the chin. And the shoulder blades are spread and the full back is connected. So just gently pulling those thighs in towards the belly and the chest. Also called cradle pose. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, relax the interlaced fingers, and just let the feet slide all the way down the mat so that you can release everything out into Shavasana. Just pause for a moment. That's your recovery posture because we've been nice and in that tight cradle ball, and then relax everything out. Draw the knees in once more, circle, massage out, open up the hips if you need to. Let's come into stirrup or happy baby. So you can take both feet out to the sides. If you can, try and get hold of the outer edges of your feet, pulling the feet down. That brings the knees down by the side of the rib cage and the waist. Keep the tailbone lengthening towards the end of your mat. And again, the head is relaxed, neck is long, full spine connected. If your hands don't quite meet the feet, they can hold onto the ankles or behind the knees or behind the thighs. Notice any areas that you are clenching or gripping or holding on to. Relax everything. Buttocks, pelvic floor, sphincter. Soften through the joints. Breathe into relaxing into this posture. Nice and slowly release the hands, release the feet. Take yourself back into constructive rest. So dropping knees in towards one another, feet are nice and wide, toes are gently turning in. You soften through the belly, soften through the spine. Hands can be wherever they feel most comfortable. So notice each time you come out of a posture what the feeling is when you're there, when you come out. It's allowing that time to recover as well. Gently heel toe the feet into parallel. We're going to take the right foot across the left thigh. Open the knee out to the side and then interlace the fingers either behind the left leg or in front of the shin. So that's your choice there. If you have a strap, you might use that as well. So the strap then can loop its way around the left thigh. We're going to soften that right calf down towards the chest. Gently using the right elbow to maybe leverage out the right knee a little bit more, making sure that the right foot is gently flexed. There's an activation, that's the word I want, an activation into the right ankle. Good. So it's reclined swan. Soften through tension through the right hip, right glute. Slowly release the fingers, release the left foot down. But if you can, just keep the right foot where it is at the moment. And then gently just rock it over to the right side. And that means that that right foot is just going to gently press on top of the left thigh. And you can gently open up the chest into a twist. Good. So you might feel a little pull into that left hip flexor, because the right foot is pulling that left knee down a little. So go easy with that one. We're not here for long. This isn't technically a yin pose, but it's a nice release. Nice and slowly roll yourself back into the center. Release that right foot. Take a moment again. Constructive rest. Drop the knees together. Let's repeat that. Left reclined pigeon. So left foot comes across the right, activation through that left ankle. Interlace the fingers behind the thigh, in front of the shin, or use a strap. And then pulling that right knee towards you, using the left elbow as a little bit of leverage for the left knee. Good, making sure the pelvis stays nice and parallel, doesn't hitch up anywhere. Shoulders are in line with hips, one isn't skew-iff. And just notice as you've transitioned to the opposite side, how each side may differ from one another. What do you need to do to look at and observe those differences and imbalances? Thing about Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, is that we want to be balanced. You want to be grounded and stable, safe and secure. Using the exhale breath to pull that left calf closer towards the chest. It may not go there, but if you visualize it and feel it, soften into the left hip, left glute. Relaxing the interlaced fingers, soften that foot down to the mat nice and carefully, and then gently roll onto your left hip, bringing that left thigh down, and just use that left foot as a little bit of weight on the right knee and thigh there, opening up the arms to the side and coming into that gentle twist. So noticing again what feelings you get as you come out of the posture, but also as you come into this gentle recovery and release, what do you feel stretching there? And breathe with any tightness. Just a minute hold here equals about between 8 to 12 breaths, depending how long your breaths are. Roll yourself back into the center, place the sole of the foot down, and return to recovery and constructive rest. Well done. That's our last posture. If you feel that you need to do something else before coming into Shavasana, it's always nice maybe just to give that little massage out through the spine, circling into the knees, circling into the hips, making yourself warm and comfortable, coming into final relaxation using any of the props that you have close by. Feet go nice and wide on the edges of your mat, letting the hips naturally relax open. Feet are soft, ankles are relaxed, arms are out to the side of you. And as you come into this relaxing posture of Shavasana, lying on your back, just really feel the whole back body connecting onto your mat, into the earth. Whatever surface you have beneath you, carpet, wooden flooring, tiles, whatever it is, feel really connected to the soil beneath it. And even if you're on an upper floor of your house, feel connected to the earth. Return back to a steady, slow, and rhythmic inhale and exhale of even length. Softening the breath as you bring your focus towards the root chakra, the pelvic floor area of the hips, the legs, and the feet. And start to feel the bones become heavier. The flesh, the muscles, the skin, the tendons, the ligaments are all soft and relaxed. Nothing is engaged. on the lower part of the body as you melt in towards the earth. Reminding yourself that you are always safe, secure, stable and grounded, connected and balanced to the earth. In to take a few deeper breaths, just bring your awareness back into your surroundings, back onto your mat, feeling the body connected, and start to gently bring movement back into the hands and slowly into the feet and the ankles, wiggling toes, flexing feet, pointing, rotating through the ankles, giving them a little circle. And then bring the feet together. Lift the arms up above the head. Give yourself a big, big stretch. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Take time to just massage out. And then take your time to roll over to one side. So just returning back into that embryo posture. And you can just stack one knee on top of the other, supporting yourself with the hand in front of you. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, gently pushing yourself up. Take time, there's no rush. I've been down there a while, so bringing yourself up into butterfly pose, soles of the feet coming together, sitting nice and upright. And just allow yourself here time to drop into the glutes, dropping into the sit bones, letting the feet, the ankles, the knees become soft and heavy. And just taking in how you feel, bringing the hands in towards the heart center. And just return back to the beginning of the practice where we sat in, well, we laid in reclined butterfly and we thought to ourselves, how do I want to feel at the end of this practice? What do I want to go away feeling? What do I need to benefit me most right now, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? And check in with yourself and how you feel right now after a particularly grounding posture for the feet, the legs, the hips, a little bit into the lower back. And always thank yourself, thank your body, thank your breath for your practice, and I thank you. Namaste.